Hey guys, today I wanted to talk about supplier discovery and supplier long lists. So specifically, how does procurement find out about you as a supplier? How do they discover you as a company, and how do they add you onto their long list? Number one, they'll look at their incumbents. So who's supplying the service already? Is there a framework agreement in place? They'll think about those suppliers and they'll be the first ones to go on the long list. Hopefully that's nice and obvious. Number two is known alternatives. So by this I mean suppliers they've become aware of as they're working through their category planning process, their category strategies, and this is all the conversations they've been having between when they ran the process last time and when they're running it this time. It's all the people they've met at Meet the Buyer events, all of these industry events and things like that that they've got the details of, and they have their details on file and they've got them front of mind for the next process. So are you being front of mind? Are you being active in trying to meet the buyer and be on this list of known alternatives? That's number two. Number three, past suppliers. So have you supplied them in the past? Possibly they would speak to the old category manager if they're still around and explore, well, who used to provide this service before the incumbent got hold of the contract? What are the names of the companies? Who have we worked with before in this area? So if you've had a past relationship with that procurement team or with that company, okay, it might be 5 years ago, 10 years ago, but if there's somebody who's still around in the business, they'll mention your name and that might just get you added onto that long list. Number four, colleague referral. And by this I mean just anybody in the business who can refer you as a supplier. That might be a technical stakeholder, it could be an operations person, just anybody in that business who you've built a relationship with who might form part of that wider procurement team, that wider procurement project team or the wider tender team. They will be able to recommend you as a supplier. So are you building those relationships? Are you using those people as sort of facilitators or catalysts to help with that relationship with procurement and get you front of mind? That's another way that you could get in with procurement. Number five is databases. So after they've taken the previous four steps, they'll start looking at databases. Things like the Achilles database, for example, in the utility space, or something like Construction Line, anywhere that they can get a list of suppliers within a particular category or area that they can add to their long list, and that they will join the incumbents, the known alternatives, the past suppliers, and now people in the database. And there's this long list effect that takes place. And number six, finally, is their own research. And that's all the things you can think about. So the classic, looking at trade associations, looking into trade press, and yes, just Googling and trying to find suppliers that way using Google, but that's normally right down the bottom of the list. And that leads into another point which I'll cover in another video, which is discovery of you for the first time on your website. And there's a whole other conversation we need to have about that that's important. Okay guys, so what have we learned? Well, procurement go through a systematic step-by-step process to find suppliers. They don't go straight to Google to start looking, for example. They start with the people that they know and the people that are recommended to them and the people that are in databases first to build their long list. So if you're on there, you're going to get added, and that's a great position to be in. Don't make the buyer find you by discovery themselves on Google or through some other means. Be proactive. But also it's important to know that in this step-by-step systematic process that they go through, they are filling up the supplier list, if you will. And when it gets to a point where they've got enough suppliers for the process, they feel like they don't want to add any more, they will just stop. And the reason is they don't want to go through hundreds of tenders or even hundreds of PQQs, especially in markets where there's loads of suppliers. They will get to a long list, let's say it's 20 people, and they'll just stop looking because they'll think somebody in there that's got, will be able to meet my requirements. That's got all the people we definitely want, and it's got some people we've never heard of, it's got a good range, so I'll just stop there. So it could be that if you're not in that top end of the list, you might just get missed off completely, and this specifically applies to the private sector. Even though in the public sector, if you're not at the top end of that list, you're not somebody who procurement are recognising as a significant player in the industry or somebody to take seriously. So you need to consider those things as well. Okay, that's all for today, guys. Just want to let you know one more thing. I'm going to start to use my own hashtag, which is bid like a buyer. That's bid like a buyer. So if you like the stuff I'm talking about, if you want to understand more about how procurement sees the bidding process From my own experience, 10 years in procurement and 5 within a bid consultancy, please follow that hashtag and you'll see all my content there, and you can start to comment and give your input and start to tell me things that you might like to hear about too. So yeah, check out that hashtag and I'll speak to you soon. Take care. Bye.